There comes a moment in every life when the world feels unbearably loud. Not because of the noise outside, but because of the storm inside. You smile. You nod. You keep moving. But in silence, you're drowning in waves no one can see. Some nights, you whisper to yourself, "Why do emotions control me so easily? And why do I feel guilty when I finally let them go?" This is the paradox of modern humanity. We want peace, but we're terrified of becoming cold. Emotional detachment is not the absence of emotion. It is the art of holding your feelings without letting them hold you. Psychologists call this self-regulated distancing, a mental ability to step back from overwhelming experiences and observe them without collapsing into them. But most people misunderstand detachment. They think it means suppressing pain, ignoring hurt, or numbing themselves until nothing matters. But real detachment is not numbness. It is clarity. It is the quiet recognition that not every emotion deserves a reaction. Not every wound deserves reopening. Not every storm deserves an anchor. Deep inside, many of us fear detachment because we grew up in environments where emotions equaled identity. Love meant sacrifice. Anger meant danger. Sadness meant weakness. So we learned to cling. Cling to people, cling to outcomes, cling to every emotional spark, as if letting go meant we would disappear. There is a private war happening inside millions of people. A war between the heart that wants to feel everything and the mind that wants to survive. Look at history. Look at art. Look at the people you admire. Frida Kahlo painted her pain so vividly it felt alive. Vincent van Gogh poured emotion into every brushstroke until it consumed him. Robin Williams made the world laugh while carrying a universe of silent storms. Highly sensitive people often become the greatest creators, but also the greatest prisoners of their own hearts. You may recognize this war inside yourself. You forgive too quickly. You break too deeply. You care so intensely that you burn out in silence. And when you try to detach, you feel guilty, as if you're abandoning everyone you love, as if emotional distance makes you cold. But sometimes, it's not coldness, it's survival. There comes a moment when emotional flooding becomes emotional drowning, when every message feels urgent, when every silence feels personal, when every disagreement becomes a threat to your identity. This is the point where empathy becomes exhaustion, where caring becomes self-destruction. When the applause fades, the silence becomes unbearable. People who never learn healthy detachment often face the same patterns. Burnout that feels like laziness. People-pleasing that feels like kindness. Overthinking that feels like responsibility. Relationships where loving becomes losing yourself. We repeat these cycles not because we are weak, but because no one taught us that boundaries are an act of love, not rejection. There is a moment quiet, fragile, almost sacred, when you finally understand. You can love without absorbing. You can care without collapsing. You can feel deeply without losing yourself in the depth. Detachment is not escaping life. It is seeing life clearly enough to respond instead of react. True detachment gives you space to breathe, to understand, to return to yourself. Not colder, not harder, just clearer. You don't lose empathy, you sharpen it. And slowly, gently, you realize not every storm needs to become your home.